Hello, today is time for Akita Inu. I mean, Akita. I don't know why I said Akita Inu. Inu means dog in Japanese, and this is a Japanese breed of dog. It's called Akita, so maybe that's why I pronounce it weird. The first time I heard the word Akita was in Japan, so it's just how I say it. I say it like Japanese people say it, ish. My pronunciation is not fantastic, but Akita. Actually, if I were speaking Japanese, I would call it Akita, but the T pronounced like that isn't how you do it in English. The ta, it's just ta, so Akita. That's what I'll do. I'll call it Akita. I don't like calling it Akita. That makes no sense. In English, we have all the sounds for calling it Akita. So I'm going to call it Akita. All right. With that important bit out of the way, it is now time to decide which Stackblitz repo to fork from. So I'm going to look over at the documentation a bit. And so I know which one it's most similar to. Then I can fork it. So you got sessions. So you got the state interface, the initial state, and then it's so far it looks like component store. Update. That looks kind of like component store. This dot update. Oh, here it's encouraging you to. Interesting. So you have a store and you can use update on it. What if you want to define it in? I bet you can. I will want to do that. It's good to co-locate state with the state logic, or at least have all state logic in one place. And okay, this is interesting. It's got default states or something. What's this? What's this for? It's not part of the session state. Sets the loading state. Is there a loading state? Why is there a loading state? I mean, I'm not opposed to there being a loading state. Is it like some kind of internal thing? How do you select it? Let's look here. Maybe it's default. All right, so just default state provided with every single store. Okay, it's common enough, whatever. I'm okay with that. So there's a query class. So store for updating, a query for protected. Oh, hey, look at this. We can join entities from different stores. Awesome. Good. So this is like a hybrid between NGXS and component store. Oh. Yeah, Stark theme. Cool. Yeah, I wanted to do something like this. Up here, what even is this? Lobby. Maybe that's a logo I just don't understand, but yeah. Anyway, irrelevant. Okay, select. All states is logged in, state.token. This is making sense. This is an old NGRX capability. Don't know if people still do it or not, but it's more or less fine. Actually, I would recommend against doing this in case you want to switch to. I mean, it's less versatile. That's why I don't recommend doing it. But Interesting. Okay, so interesting. Okay, so okay. An array. Oh, that's a little confusing because this is an array you're passing in. So these are equivalent here. Now they produce different behavior if they're inside an array. You're gonna get as long as it's type checked. Like, I'm totally fine with that. It's like a little confusing, but it's okay. But I want to define a new selector. Yeah, that's what I think Nginx does. Get value. Okay, that's for imperative purposes. I mean, why? Okay, why not unobservable? But okay. Select is loading. Default selectors. Okay. Okay, so how do you select between stores? There's a lot of stuff down there. Where did they mention that? Yeah. How do you get it from different? That is a mystery that I hope to learn. Store config, blah, blah, blah. Name session. Okay. So you're naming a store here. Resettable true. Oh, probably default store method. Don't really care about that. And you can pass in an ID key. When I make the entity stuff for state adapt, I'm going to have you pass in just an adapter. And that will expect the adapter to have a selector called ID on it. That's how I'm going to do that. I feel like I'm not ready to use this based on this, and I don't want to really get advanced. Elf I saw was a little similar. It has a lot of extra cool stuff, but the core is like extremely simple. Entity state makes sense. Provide an ID is probably next. You're naming these states, but you're referring to them as stores. So we're just extending it with a filter. Provide that as the initial state. I guess that's all. For the property. Oh, it merges it. Okay. Okay. Entity ID. Nested entity ID. How do you... What? Oh, store middleware. Okay, whatever. Entity store. Okay, so you can set, add to the entity, update an entity, I'm sure, with the ID and the new thing. One thing that's nice about this is the just the simplicity of these updates. You're not returning, you're not mapping from state to state and stuff, so that is nice. So this is just, oh no. Okay. Set loading, set error, move. Interesting. It's like entity. Okay. Same thing. Select all. What did get all? Oh, right. No observable. Same thing I saw over in Elf, I think. Select first, select last, select loading. Entity. Listen for any store action. Ooh. Select entity action. Interesting. Whoa. Okay, this is a capability I haven't seen. I don't think. This might. This is a capability that maybe breaks reactivity, possibly. Because what would you do here? Why would you listen to this other than for inside of a store? What are you gonna do with this? It's for side effects. Probably imperative side effects. Okay, active entity. Okay, so this is like a selected thing, whatever. Yeah. These colors are really vivid. Set active. Yeah, okay. I have plans for stuff like this with state adapt, but like more flexible. Because the adapter pattern is just really cool. Man, I need to just start making those. Oh, I need to finish this, and then I can move over to those things. It's like all I'm thinking about. I might take a detour through trying to look at svelte, solid, and quick, and just see what it would look like trying to do something reactive with those. But I really want to start writing the adapters. It's been too long. Okay, you can do multiple. That's good. Oh, and it's a specifically different thing. This is awesome. An array, set active, it's just like entities, but it's just IDs. Toggle active. That's pretty cool. Toggle. Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. But I don't think that's how I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to update the model itself, like the entity itself. We'll see how I do it. Sorting. Should be a selector. Oh. You do pass it in. But it should be part of state. Yeah. Oh, okay. So this is, you're grabbing, okay. Start with title, sort by title. Okay. That's what it's doing here. And it's a selector. Okay. But passing it in. So honestly, sort control should be setting state, and the selector should know about that state. I mean, I kind of have this planned out. I don't have it open yet, but let me open it just so I can show you just for fun. That actually may not be the best idea because it's been a long time and what you see here will not be what it ends up being probably. Although I did think it through a bit. Anyway, move on. UI state. UI. Special property. What does that do? Oh, it's deeply updating. Okay. That's cool. Okay, anyway, where am I? Back in, let's see. Where did I put this stuff? Did I stash this again? Nah, it's loading still. Yeah, okay. So, is there anything special, or is this just a recommended? Open, okay. Yeah, so UI state, entity, right, okay. Oh yeah, people talked about separating UI state and regular state, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. I don't like this separation anymore. I used to, but I don't anymore. I mean, I was thinking about it. I never really liked it, but okay. Now, with this cool function here, create list adapter, I'm not going to zoom in because it doesn't matter. I'm just going to tell you what it says in case you're watching on a phone or whatever. So for each, I don't know if I did sort yet, did I? I did. Okay, so this is the signature I'm thinking of. You pass in the adapter for each entity, and it assumes the selector ID exists, and then you give it a list of selector names that it can use from the person adapter to generate more selectors. For example, all married or all deceased. This is for people, person data. And then a selector it can use for sorting. And then external entity ID. Yeah, this is like the weird thing that I'm not satisfied with this. It'd be nice if there were it's an array, so you can define multiple special IDs, but not handle it in a generic way. So I'm still thinking about this, but we'll see. I just thought, with the adapter pattern, what's the coolest way to do entity stuff? I'm not going to call it entity. I'm just going to call it list adapter. I still don't really know what the purpose of this for, why it's given special treatment. I'm going to ignore it, actually. It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Having separate UI state and treating it as a special thing in the framework, why? It's a UI store. But it's a property. Yeah, it's like a separate state inside the current state. It's like individually managed. Yeah, I just don't care. You can already extend the regular entity stuff with your filter thing. You can extend it. That can just be the UI state. Transactions are an optimization for performing multiple operations on the store. Sweet. Good. Maybe this can be reactive. Let's say we have the following store and query. Interesting. So yeah, these are separate files that need to be made. And we want to query the entire state. Auth state equals auth query dot select. And then subscribe. Now let's say we want to update the same store a couple of times on the same tick. Frick. This is imperative. Okay, we don't want to trigger their subscription twice. We can use them as decorators. Okay, so we got transaction. Oh, just mark it with transaction and it'll double them up. Is there no way to do this reactively. Like even with NGRX component store, it just, which I have zoomed in again. Like this is imperative. It really is imperative. That's selector, so it's not that, but it's all kind of grouped together, so that's not too bad. So I'm hoping I can group things together. And I hope I can apply an update across multiple stores. So, yeah. It looks like this is defined externally, but it needs to be able to apply transaction. Oh, that's a different thing. And then you got with transaction as an operator. Huh. First of all, this sets this is for updating the same store twice. This is like really imperative style. It'd be nice. Okay, you should be able to do, oh, this dot store. Where's that coming from? This dot store. Is this on? He probably, yeah. I like the decorator because it's more minimal and it doesn't affect the type. Like it's inconsequential. But where? Are we putting it in here? I think we are. This is going to be a little harder because I haven't used it. It's more complex than NGXS. But I'm hoping it's not too bad. Yes, here we go. Combine queries. Oh, look at this. 2 different queries. Interesting. So combine queries. Observable creator, which is useful in cases where we need to return data from our store combined with data arriving from our additional queries. Like combine latest? Shoot, I hope it's not really like it. But one example is from other stores. If he did the work to prevent it from firing multiple times, even for synchronous updates, he'll talk about it. I guess we'll test it. So that should be fun. But I can see why he created a new state management library. This is going to be more code than NGRX, I think, even though it's not reactive. Okay. So we got service, we got the stores, and I hate this formatting with a fiery passion. This is where you get in like we need space instead of tabs because tabs might show up differently, and we need these to be the same level. It's so much easier to understand, but it's not. This is not easier to read. It's not easier. I like the way Prettier does it. Anyway. So with transaction, so you're going to set a bunch of things. Okay, so you're grabbing both. So it's one response that has a bunch of things, and then, oh good. I thought for a second that this was duplicate state in multiple stores. This is a fat endpoint. It's taking care of a lot of things. Okay, well, best practices. Avoid creating selectors in your code. Data storage types. Avoid, okay. Keep it simple. UI state. No. Keep it simple. Don't over-engineer. Don't create a separate store for any entity you may have. For example, you might have a list of articles where each article contains a list of comments. Yeah. This is a concern. Like, people used to normalize, and if you're working on a really, really, really stateful application, maybe it's good to do that. But I passed through phases. The first phase was I was working on a project that was really not well designed, and a lot of the logic was front end. And then we finally decided towards the end of my employment there that we needed to do server-driven pagination and filtering. Some lists had like 2,000 items on them, and yeah, overdue decision. So I thought that all this management stuff, I thought that state management was like a database for the client, and it would be in charge of caching and everything. But no, it's still really thin. Everything still lives on the server. But for some applications, maybe. But you do want to keep it simple for server-driven apps, for sure. And possibly for client stateful apps. The question that often comes up is whether to subscribe to the component or the service. Don't. Yeah, because this is imperative. That's what I... Okay, so if you're showing state, so if it's selector component, if it's mutating, subscribe. God, this there has to be another way to do. There may not be. Well, here's the thing. I don't feel like really innovating with this, because I don't think people would care about using this reactively. It feels like it really, really fundamentally goes against its style. Whereas with component store, it kind of is a little reactive. Maybe. Not really, but with the effects, that's more reactive. The effects mechanism. That allows you to declare some observable chain of stuff. All right, so event-based APIs. Here we go. There we go. Reactivity. This is... I hate the way this looks. Something's going on here. I have to scroll. This is weird. Why is it formatted like this? Anyway, run store action and run entity store action. Okay. Bookstore. Store action dot update. Where does store action come from? Where do you define store actions? Oh, those methods. Okay, update, and then what does this have on it? Because you're not importing it. Okay. You're getting it from the store. Okay, that makes sense. This is a lot of code. Does it just run it immediately? It has to. That's what it's called. Run. Okay, so that's like dispatch. Okay, so this will... How do you use observables with this? Like, how does this help with WebSockets? Okay. So ignore it. Don't do that. That's stupid. Don't use a string. TypeScript doesn't work for that. Yeah, it wouldn't, I guess. But how is this more reactive? I'm trying to... I'm so confused. How does this help? I'm assuming the WebSocket is an observable. So where's the observable? Don't need a comma here. To make it easier for you, we've added a new API method. Run store action and run entity store action. How is this different from just updating the store? Is it because it's external and you don't have access to the website? That doesn't make sense. Yeah, this is taking longer for me to figure out. This is going to be like NGXS, I think. Observable. Oh, custom operator. Yeah, whatever. Oh, hey, look at that. An operator that... Interesting. That is interesting. Okay. Oh, it's like start with. Okay. All right. No, it's not. I don't exactly know what it does. It's tap under the hood, but no, it runs immediately, right? When does it run? It has to run immediately. Okay, array utils. Okay, I don't really care about that. I mean, actually, we've got colors. This might be... It's nested. So maybe it's fine. Maybe. Because normally you would have things nested like this, but we can't use it in the Colors app. It's just a utility, though. It's not fundamentally very interesting. Plain JS usage. When did he make this? Was this... Let me see if there's like an article announcing it. Announcing Akita Angular. CB4 2018. Anything? Yeah. In 2017, are Shiba Inus and Akita's lazy dogs? Yeah. So it was invented in 2018. I guess that's still relatively recent for Angular's release, so whatever. Class support. No. No. Don't use a class as your state object. Ugh. Ugh. Dev tools should be easy, and it is. Persist state, snapshot manager, stuff. Okay, this is, oh wow, they have Svelte support. Cool. Oh, it's a different website. Got 260 claps for this. That's cool. Let's see if Svelte developers like it. Why, when Svelte has all this built in? This would be good for migration between frameworks. Yeah, that's what I've thought when implementing potentially stated app for other things. The other person's like, why would you do it when they already have this? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well. What do I work on first? What do I do? First of all, what is this most similar to? In terms of boilerplate, it's similar to NGXS. In terms of style, it's similar to Component Store. So I will probably go from NGXS, but the template is more similar to, yeah, the component's going to be more similar to the Component Store, I think. So I'm going to fork from the Component Store. All right. I'll show you real quick what I did here. This is the simplest Component Store thing, but anyway, I'm going to fork this now. And it's there. It's now forked. Now, I kind of like the idea of keeping these here, so I'm going to do this, but Akita, progressive. Okay, here we go. Oh man, I don't know if I'm ready for this. I'm gonna rebel, and I'm gonna put the query class in the same file as the store class. I know it's not officially the style guide for Angular, but I do not care. They should be in the same file. They should be the same class, in my opinion. Okay. And it's unhappy. All right, now we're gonna comment out all of this. All of that, actually. Color picking component. That's something that I never needed to comment out before. All right, commented out. And where's the module? Oh, we don't do the module with Component Store. So, well, we're doing it now. Now we need to look at everything is commented out. So let's look at the dependencies. Let's get rid of that. Shouldn't be needed anywhere. And what is this again? Installation. Datarama. Or however he says that. All right, I've never done Akita before. This is interesting. Okay. Don't you add this to the module? Let's try. I mean, is this the app and is there code? To-dos. Whoa. A lot of sample apps here. Maybe I should put my sample apps in the doc in the stated app docs. Maybe lazy loaded, so. Where's the code? I want to see the code. I don't care. This can be coded in anything. Also, this should be white text. I don't know. Let's pretend you don't have to add it to store because I don't see anything here for it. All right. Then let's just get started with the store. So we have state, that will be string array. Create initial state is unnecessary. Why is that a function? I bet this is actually going to be more like component store. So glad I am doing this. All right. So, all right. It's time to get going. So what do we import? Store and store config. Nice. Cool. Name. Colors. Yeah? I learned it already. How cool is that? Okay. And got constructor with the initial state, which I should have down here. Oh. Is this going to be injectable under the hood? Okay. I will not have that there. I will have that here. Hopefully it's provided in root. Oh, man, this is actually going to be tough. This is going to be hard. Okay. So that's an actual store. I mean, I'm going to try to do it the exact same way, but I'm not going to be able to because... Yeah, when does this... Is there like a lifecycle hook? Could I call unsubscribe on this and do this kind of the same way? I doubt it. I doubt it. But at least it's cool to know that you can use the basic stuff the same way. Man. How am I going to do this with the separation of query? It's just going to be boilerplate. I have to write it. So colors, query. Oh my gosh. Extends, query. Good. Same thing again, and I forgot the most important part. What? Okay, how do I do query? The query. Yeah, I imported the wrong thing. Angular core. Okay, that sucks. I did notice something like that. Okay, is there a query config too? No, good. Shoot. I hope I don't have to do separate ones for each. Nope, I don't. I'll extend this for colors. Or actually, is this all you ever do with the query? I think this is all you ever do. So yeah, I will just define one for each. This is crazy boilerplate. I am just surprised at this. This is gonna be. I hope it's not worse than NGXS, but it could be. It could be. Okay, we got. Oh, this is. Okay. And remarkably. What? Oh, good. Good. That's actually good. Okay, and we have to put a new line between these because this is a lot of stuff. And I don't think, does it need to be injectable? Apparently not. I mean, it has to be, right? Maybe this is already injectable. I bet it is. Oh, man. Crazy. And this had better be provided in root then. Okay, disliked. Okay, I'm moving the microphone a little bit. Or the keyboard, either one. Okay, that's better. Jeez, I need to prepare a little better for these videos. It's just the code is just like growing. Hey, at least you can use Redux DevTools with this, so that's a plus. All right, now we got. That's ridiculous. Session query. Favorite query. I'm gonna call favorite query. I'm gonna name it consistent. That's an even better idea. And that is pointless. Oh man. Neutral colors query. Okay. Wow. Ooh, man. Okay, and you start, I think you put the logic inside the query, so good. Good. And it has to be a function. I wouldn't use the string if, maybe I would, I don't know. Okay, so these now are not here. They were never there. Wait. I do want a base query. So how do you refer to the store then? I think it's my first time that I need to pause and think. Okay, I think I can define a base query class without. Yes, I believe I can. Colors query. And not have the constructor. So I think this is just fine still. Yep, this should be fine. This should be fine. And these extend this instead. Oops, just 1, 2, 3. Good. Okay. All right. That was close to an emergency, but it was not an emergency. And I'm going to put that right next to it. Like, at least these should be the same. Okay. Wrong tab. Or right tab. I don't know. What am I looking for? Okay, so that. Now I'm going to get rid of these errors because these should be actually error or easy. Not error. Crap. Update. What you gotta have set. So update, set loading, set error. What? Oh no. You have to have a nested object? How do I want to do this then? I wonder what the right thing to do is here. It has to be. Let me Google just to make sure. Akita array as state. Akita does state have to be array or object. Object-oriented design principles. Boo. That's my opinion. Even though adapters are kind of object-oriented, just a little bit. When I update the state, I get the state object. Okay, that's not helpful. This stores a single object. I think it does have to be an array. So what does that mean? Does it really have to be an array? What about elf? That'll be its own thing I have to figure out. I mean, let me close that. It is nice that we get to, actually I'm going to keep it open. It is nice that we get to have the nice update method. So that's cool. What about chaining selectors? Can you do that with Akita? Because we'd select the main thing and then I guess it's always updating. It's always going to be the same, but how do you handle further selectors? I bet it's RxJS, but in my case, I won't need it. I'll just have one selector, and I can't use the string. Okay. The idea is reusing state logic independent of specific state, so I don't want to create a nested state structure for the whole thing. So when we get to adapters and we want to reuse the logic, I don't want to make another parameter or anything like that. I'm putting every state management library through the same task. But like if you were starting out and you're just doing like state adapt, you would do it like this. And then maybe like this, where we've got initial state and the name of it, and then the state change patterns. This is This is the simplest incremental change to this. Unfortunately, well, it's turning to an array, so it's kind of a big change, but compared to everything else, this has been the winner so far. If you look at this, well, it's all that. So this or that, they're a little, I mean, create a new file and all that stuff, but with Akita, I guess they're all going to be nested state, like no matter what, because I want to reuse the same state management pattern. That's requirement like number one for me. But yeah, all of these are requirements. This is a huge problem with store, that you can't you can't have selectors. They select from multiple stores. That's a huge problem. So, I mean, like technically, NGRX component store is not even like competing anymore, because this is a feature that it doesn't support. I mean, it's kind of fine because the functionality, it works. But that's the thing. I want to get as close as I can to the actual functionality that I'm looking for. And this is a simple contrived example. I've already talked about this in the other videos, but this is a simple example, but there are real problems, like real state management solutions, that what you want is the ability to have the state management in one place and then potentially reuse it in completely different places. So no, it's not all part of the same thing. It's different, and like the fact that it has to be nested means that it doesn't lend itself very easily to reusability, because you can't define extremely simple state management patterns with it. So what if I could, though? Translation layer from adapters. I'm not going to worry about it for now. I will do it the way that is wanted. Okay, this kind of sucks, but this is how it has to be. Hey, that's not too bad. Okay, now we got this problem. We're going to do... That wasn't too bad. Hey, that was pretty easy. Oh. So loading state is now going to be an array. Okay. I think this is how it looked before. All right, now we can actually update. Uh-oh. Oh, no. I hope it gives you the previous value. It doesn't. Oh, yes. The second update option. Yeah, here we go. Good. This is exactly what I'm looking for. This dot store dot update. It's just this dot update. And then with the arrow function. Okay. Perfect. And it's going to be colors. So update. And that will be state. And actually, I don't need all of it, so I can just take out colors and grab it out like that. Okay. So let's do this. And then surround. Hey, that's not too bad. Not really. It's a little crazy, but that's not too bad. Oh, I don't even use that. So, okay, yeah, this one, no need for the arrow function. Yeah, no need for parentheses. Thank you, Prettier, for cleaning up. Okay. Okay, the basics are good. I think I can get rid of this injectable thing. We'll see if this works at all. Never done this before. So let's say you have, I think you have to subscribe, and that sucks. I would have noticed something that I could use similar to effects. I don't think there is anything. I don't even know what to search for. Man, this... This is just imperative. But I can already call the updates. I really don't understand this. What is this for? This is for batches. Oh, hey, look at that. Yeah, but it's still imperative. Okay. That's not an example of this. It's an example of querying after it. That's kind of odd if I'm understanding that correctly. Okay, let's assume... Can we extend all the stores and then you're constructing all of them multiple times? That's a problem. But you need the actual stores that are going to be updated. How do you do this? Where do you put this? And this is just a way of doing imperative updates. So, I already decided I'm not going to try too hard on this to get it reactive because I don't think that it can be done. Elf is a little simpler. I think it's probably a similar philosophy though, and it's definitely very imperative. So I'm going to get rid of my hope for doing any of this. Oh my gosh, this is the worst one. Is this going to be... I'm going to bring back using in the component, which is unfortunate. That would have been nice. Using. I mean, maybe I should have done that with component store too, because this is imperative, right? I mean, maybe, I don't know. And then they're not coupled together in one observable. So, I don't know. This is actually closer to how StateAdapt does it, where it's like part of the store itself that you're referring to an observable. And then the patterns are defined elsewhere. So when it comes to the actual state, you just sort of hand it this, and that's kind of declarative. And Yeah, that would actually be preferable over the way you have to do with NGX and NGXS. So this is fine. This is fine. It's just like going to be part of state when you subscribe. So it's not as reactive because it's going to be eager about it, but I don't know. This is just a simple example. I would have to really solidify these patterns. I would need to think more deeply about it, and but for now, this looks like state adapt a bit, and I think you can use stores in like observables from other stores as well. You should be able to. Like, you should be able to inject stuff in the constructor. Why wouldn't you? So, yeah. Anyway, but for this, you've got an observable. I mean, I could do this here, but then it doesn't manage subscriptions for me, so that I can't be declarative about it. I gotta subscribe and unsubscribe. And I mean, even though tap is technically a side effect, and even if you look at state adapt, like state adapt actually, this is the name of an imperative state change, right? But I mean, it looks declarative. But the fact is, you're never actually calling this. It's something that happens as part of the workflow, so or the observable. This is declarative. Like, technically it is. Okay, I need to sort out these concepts real quick in my head. I'm going to pause while I think. Well, the key is that it's part of the declaration of the state of this store here. That this is a way that the state changes, and it's part of the declaration that it's going to change this way. So it is declarative. And imperative, like, it's not a side effect. It's a pure function, and it only affects this store right here. So, and that's the whole point of declarative programming, is you want to define the thing next to where it's being used. And set state, I mean, this is the store, right? I mean, we've got this extra thing in here, but you're defining the state here, and you're defining behavior, or you're referring to behavior so that it inherits it. So this is still declarative. The logic's just somewhere else, but it's declarative, and it's expressive because it's like you've named the way states can change, and the fact that you're connecting it together with a pipe and a tap doesn't matter. It's when the place where you define state doesn't have the ability to react to events at all. And I probably should move this externally, just to show that it's not actually part of the store. This is separate. This is a source. So yeah, I probably should just do that right now. Yeah, for the component store, I am going to do that. So I'm going to update like 4 places, I guess, real quick. Yeah, I like this better. Reduces lines of code, technically, so that's pretty neat. Because I'm going to put them all next to each other. Yeah, I like this. They are their own independent things, and the store is reacting to them. That's how it should have been. Okay. What? What do you want? Oh. Interesting. Dang it. Well, I still like this a lot better, so I'm going to keep it. All right, now I'm going to move this over here. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. I would do, I wish there was an easier way to handle that, but yeah, that looks way better in my opinion. Okay, and why did, oh, it did. Okay, now down here. Yeah, it's actually pretty strange that I decided to try to define them in the same place. That is pretty weird. I mean, it's okay, but it is a totally separate concern. Honestly, the less we do in classes, the better. All right, so these are the sources. Here are the stores. And blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right. So, yeah, this would be its own. Why did I do that? Let's see. There we go. Got the same thing here again. Now it's not even going to know what it's referring to. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I got sources here. And I wonder, like, how do you actually do this? Where do you connect it? You got to subscribe here, right? Is there a life cycle hook? Because then we could at least unsubscribe. Akita on destroy. Do you have to do it in the component? I think you might have to do it in the component. All right. I just Googled. I can't find anything. I'm just going to just take care of it in the component, apparently. And that probably goes for blackout, too. Probably have to take care of that in the component, too. That's too bad. So I'll define them in the component. And that's just how it's going to be. All right, component, you are becoming really smart now. So actually, it's always aware of the store, so that's probably enough smartness to make it smart. Nothing from there. Subject, good. Timer, all right. Okay, we got to query these things, so it's going to be the query. Oh, man. Can I just, it's gonna be any, right? Subscription, okay. Goodness. Okay, here we go. We're gonna connect these things. We're gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it ng on init because that'd be extra lines of code, and we're comparing it to the same standard, and I've always just done it on construction. So I'm going to just do this here. We're gonna connect things together. Or they should just be methods. Yeah, they're just going to be methods. Well, I can't. Blackout will be a method. But, so, set all to black. Transact. Will this work? I hope. I think it will. Favorite store dot set all to black. Frick. Okay. the template will be more like the others. Well, in some ways. Okay, so that is good. Now, crazy. Okay. I think I do have to do. No, you can query from. Yeah, but I don't know how. And I don't know how you can do derived stuff anyway. Like query, I don't think anything says how to like reuse queries. It just is very observable heavy. And this is the way I first started using NGRX, like I talked about in the last video. But let's see, Akita chain selectors. Does transaction combine actions to multiple stores? Yes. Oh, here it says same store, but I think they must have changed it, right? Where's transaction? Here we go. Just make sure I'm not going crazy. I think you can do multiple stores here. Store. Look at that. I hope that worked. I could just get rid of the decorator if it doesn't work. And then it's inefficient and I hate it. But then it's still okay. We'll see what it... Well, combined... I mean, the observables, they have to each emit one at a time. So, yeah. Anyway, but chaining selectors, where are we? We've added 2 selectors to first and last of a query. Can't do that. I don't think you can reuse selectors. How about that? Oh, yeah, well, okay. That was a part of the documentation. I saw a tip that said to put them in the query class itself. I'm going to assume that it's like NGRX component store and it doesn't have it. Again, like somebody could correct me at some point, but for now I don't think it has it, and that bugs me. But anyway, so it's going to be... Oops, we need to import these now. Is it going to be... I'm going to call it favorite query. Hey. We're going to do... Doesn't have that VS Code update yet. We're going to call this disliked, of course. Same as always. And import that. Okay, now we can do... All right. What? What's the deal here? That's Boolean. Oh, good. Okay. All right. Look at that. Beautiful stuff. Okay. And this might be more than NGXS. I'm looking forward to ELF. ELF, well... For the first, like, for the first, I don't know, levels of complexity, I don't know how well it does, but for simple states, it will be as minimal, almost as minimal as state adapt. So, God, this kills me. Anyway, on destroy. Right? But we need to subscribe. What are we subscribing to? These things. So, wait a second. No. The subject. This is not a thing. That's not a thing. This isn't a thing. That's not a thing. We're doing using again. Where are the selectors? Oh, I was grabbing them from the store, but now we're redefining them here. How do we do this over in EdgeXS? And similar. Yeah, it makes sense. Inline. So I'm going to copy this. Okay. All right. This is fine. Hopefully, I doubt it's going to be doing this. It's not select. It's just going to be favorite store dot colors. Oh, favorite query. That's right, of course. Okay, good. All right. What's the deal with this? Oh. Okay. Neutral. Okay, and then favorite store dot. Did I define this state reaction? I don't think I did, but it's easy to define. But I'm gonna set all. Yeah. Okay, not too bad. Okay, now, actually, I'm going to call this set colors. Okay. Now I get to go back here and what? Okay. That was a total guess. Just looked like a lot of parentheses. Okay. Oh no. Why? That makes no sense. Oh no. I don't think this is the problem, but it could be. That was it. Okay, weird. All right. Oh, beautiful. And now this is gone. Oops. Just that. Is it going to work now? And this should work, right? It takes the same arguments in. Let's try it out. Oh, God, there's so much unknown. I'm going to go to, I'm going to see DevTools. See what you have to do here. Oh, you just do here. Cool. You just define it completely. It's defined. We're gonna use it all the time. Okay, where would DevTools be? Right here. We need to install it. I was put in the same place. Might as well. I assure you it exists. Hey, when I saved it, it worked. Now I'm going to, okay, here's the, oh, of course, I forgot. I need to get rid of those. Oops. Super? I think I can, how does it work? I think this is right. Yep. Yeah, look how minimal the declaration is. Isn't that cool how minimal the declaration is? You have no idea what's going to happen to it. Like that's what declarative code is. It's it's fat. Anyway, I'm being weird. Yeah. This is what it always looks like when you go from imperative or declarative to imperative. It's going to look like less in the declaration. Basically, if you're looking for a thing, I've seen this before. If you're looking for a thing, where it's defined is not where it'll be. What was this? Oh, it's going to be query, so I have to update the templates. Nice, good. Man, we're close. Here we go. Here. Oh, this is painful. It's going to break. Yeah, I knew it. No provider. I knew it. What? Oh, I bet this was made when provided and wasn't popular yet. 2019 is when they officially recommended that. Yeah, it was an update. So I bet you're expected. Yeah, of course. Of course, they would expect you to provide this every time. So, yeah, that makes sense. It gives me more to update, but no, it doesn't. I can change this here. Yeah, I have to change it here, both places, everywhere. So inject double, provided in root. Import, good. Okay, goodbye ArcGIS stuff. Okay, so store config. Injectable, everything is injectable. I hope this works. Oh, it's not subscribing. Right. So I need to change this back to using this. Let's see. So that should do it. Yes. Yes. Blackout. Makes sense. Okay, I gotta look at Redux DevTools. What's going on? I gotta see for myself. How is it going? How are things? No. Oh, right. These are separate. They would be separate anyway. But let's look at this. Transaction, did it work? No. No. And why are these this? Why do these look the same? Where's it getting this from? It has to be the name. Yeah, it's not updating. These are the duplicated. Oh, it's treating them as separate. But these are the okay, so the state names, I don't know how this works under the hood. This is interesting because yeah, that's pretty interesting. But yeah, here, neutral. All right. Yes. It works. Separate states. All of them updated. Weak saw. Like, why? Why? That is. Am I using it wrong? Or does it just log them all as separate? And transaction. Does it take can it take an argument? No, not from there anyway. Let's see if I can do a better job of namespacing this as its own thing. Nope. What was that? Oh, because I unplugged it and plugged it back in. So, okay, so now, yep, all black. Orange, yep. Update. Well, what's the payload? Let's see. Okay, so Redux DevTools are basically like pointless. You get to see what the current state is. And you get to see that its changes over time. But how WebSockets. Maybe that's what that was about. No, look, these are the actual actions. They're going to log the exact same thing every time. Yeah. All right. I don't know how. This is like an unfiltered opinion. It's a good thing only like 5 people watch these, but how is this so bad? Like, how is Redux DevTools such an afterthought in this entire thing? The least you could do is like over here in the store, like use the method name to decorate the action type at least. How is this not done? And no payload? How can you not? Well, I guess you should show what, like, how is it not? You know what? You know what the benefit of Redux DevTools is? The benefit is when you are programming reactively and you have an event log, and you know what you want to know what the significant of the events are. So, because in a reactive system, it's not obvious from the event log what the significance of the events are. They're self-describing. They have no opinion about what's downstream. So when you create a system that is imperative and creates imperative updates, it's less important to know, like, you're not confused about what is being said at what time. That's what you have. What you're confused about is the bigger picture of what actually happened. Because if you look at this, nothing in here says what happened. There's nothing in here that says what happened. All it's saying is this changed. So it's like Redux DevTools without the action log. It's basically pointless, and that's why it's an afterthought, because nobody uses it. It's like, oh, this feature we gotta check because other libraries have it, but it's completely pointless with Akita. Because if you want to know what's happening, well, you want to look at the current state. That's fine, but so it's not totally useless. But if you want to know what's happening, here's what's happening. Not here. Here's what's happening. Oh, we're setting all to black. Oh, we're setting all to black. So setting all to black. Okay, that's what happened. What is the point of having a transaction? There's no point. I mean, maybe it's a slight efficiency boost, and I'm going to keep it there. But I don't know. But let's look at this too. Tap. Yeah, like I tried to put on a filter because I know that people get really sensitive about criticizing stuff that people do for free, even though people benefit tremendously personally from contributing to open source. Especially when it gets really popular. Like Akita, look, like it has like, what is it, 3,000, same as NGXS, and like stars on GitHub, and half as much as NGX itself. It's not used as much, but I mean, come on, like, yeah, it's just a really, yep. Jeez, it's still, you got false. I didn't realize you can't see it because of my face. False, true, false, true, false. That is. I don't have anything else to say. These are important features, in my opinion, in a state management library. So I don't know, let's do the fun part, and let's see how much worse this is than NGXS, which is already massive boilerplate. Okay. Let's see. What was this? 276? Wasn't that what it was? Yeah, I was about to talk to my assistant, but I don't want to trigger all of yours, so I'm going to pause it while I tell it to add these numbers together. So that's 259 lines of code. What about this one? Actually, this one I'll just add in my head because it's only two numbers: 120 plus 81, so 201. It's less than NGRX. That's crazy. This was less than NGRX. That's crazy. What was this? This was Component Store. Component Store was like 130 or something like that. 150 maybe? I don't know. But, yeah. Huh. Well, it may be because... No, this was 206. Is that what it was? I think so. No, 201. And NGRX was... I'm going to pause and do that one. All right, so NGRX is 225. And this was 201. So... The problem with NGRX was the selector stuff, like how you had to create the feature selector and, you know, do that stuff manually. But I'd much rather have the flexibility and selectors than this. But all right, well, I did it. So this is done and it took less than 2 hours. So there's just not as much to work with as with NGXS. I had to figure more things out, like extending and doing the decorator thing. But at least you can listen to actions in NGXS. But I'm trying to figure out why it took so long with NGXS. Yeah, this has big documentation, but it's more about like all these features you can use, these extra like add-on things. It's less about the core concepts. Core concepts are like minimal and imperative. So there's like one way to use them. But yeah. So a lot of the documentation is like kind of like bells and whistles added on to the core. So anyway, so that's what that was. Now I'm going to copy this over to the other components. And I'm gonna write about this, and if somebody sees something that I could have done, then they can tell me and I can do it again or fix it. I hope someone does. I hope there's a way to make this more reactive. Actually, even 200. Okay, let's call it that. 200 and 225. Okay. Anyway. So I guess this is it. This is what we have. So next will be Elf. I'm going to copy this because they were created by the same person. So I assume they're going to be similar. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. Okay. All right. Well, that was interesting. All right. Yep. That's all I have. Bye.